What's going on, guys? So this is a really big box. This is a Musha that's actually sitting in its display, and this is Master Grade Monday. You've been waiting for it. Let's get to it. Alright guys, so this is the first real Master Grade Monday of this year, because we've been doing Master Grade Mondays for the last few weeks, over the last month and a half or so, I guess, since I started this guy. And we are doing, of course, the Master Grade Shin Musha Gundam. And this is the one, of course, that comes with all the things, as we've seen in the updates so far. So realistically, what this is going to be, of course, well, we're going to do the box review first, and then, well, we've gone over the frame, we've gone over the weapons and accessories, so basically what I'm going to do is go over all the finish details, which there's quite a lot if you've been following my posts. So, let's look at the box. So we got MG logo up there, nice artwork here of the Musha, and you have it all right there in some nice script, and you've got the dragon fighting the phoenix in the background. Come down here and you see some stuff in the corner. I'm supposed to see that. And you got Bandai logo there, and go to Tokyo, Japan. That's the old one right there, because this is a Bandai 2009 kit. But it's a big heavy box. Trying to hit things. So come down to this side and you've got Gundam Muso 2. So that's where this one is featured. So you got this and the Mark II Musha, which we've looked at before. I can't read any of that, but it's got some cool stuff going on there. You move over, you got front view. You got it right in there. And you've got the sword, which is called Nichirimaru. Yeah, Nichirimaru. And whatever all that says, because of course this was before they started translating things, but he's got his nice katana there. And you got, oh, hey, Denkumaru, which is his big staff weapon, and then you got Sankumaru, which is the kind of trident weapon. That's pretty cool. I like all the things. And then you got Tanegashima. Either way, it's the gun. It's pretty cool, and it's pointing out chrome pipes and stuff, and other things and articulated stuff. I can't read it because it's in Japanese, and I'm not. Front skirts. Guys, you realize it's been a while since I looked at a Master Grade box? Anyways, so Shin Musha Gundam in very large letters. And you got Master Grade, and then an image of all the things right there. Repeat of box art. Very pretty. Eyes are glowing. And you got Bandai. And we come to the last side, and you see it there with all of its awesome display. And I did do mine differently, as you've seen before, so I actually used both signs together. I don't know the difference between them, to be totally honest, and hopefully it doesn't really mess anything up, but I like the display option of having both out there. So you've got all the weapons, all the things and stuff and such, and then we've got cool chrome parts. You've got gold chrome, you've got real chrome, you've got shiny stickers, you've got chrome parts on the things, you've got stickers and dry transfers. I didn't use any of those. And you've got PSP, ABS, PP. Really, that polypropylene. Totally missed that. But you've got the the bags probably, yes. So you've got the little guy with the toilet right there. And you've got 8,000 yen, or 80-ish dollars. I think I paid a little bit less than that, but I don't honestly remember. But thereabouts is how much you should pay for it. If people are charging you more, don't pay it. And it is, of course, illustrated by Morishita Nachika, one of my favorite artists ever. I haven't said that in a long time. It's Master Grade Monday, and the box is still upside down. And if you don't know why the box ends up upside down, well, you haven't been here long enough. But we've already seen this. So let's get to the big boy himself. Alright guys, so here it is, the mostly finished Shin Musha Gundam. Now we have seen the display and stuff already before. We've even seen the gun that I added some wood grain to and stuff like that. And we saw the inner frame of the Gundam the last time we did a check-in. And I apologize in advance. Some of this is going to be hard to film because it's black with shiny chrome. And the camera doesn't know what to do about that, if I'm totally honest. But for a sense of height, there's the top of the frickin' things. Stick way above all of that. And one thing you will definitely notice is the fact that he is sitting. Now, I covered that whenever I did the inner frame. I did make a cool little seat form, and I'll go over that in a minute. We're going to go over the accessories and stuff up close for everybody who hasn't seen, and the updates and stuff like that for things you guys have not seen, like that guy. So, let's go ahead and kick it over to that. Alright, so for the display itself, you've got the cool foil background there that is mostly made on cardboard and just is absolutely gorgeous. You've got the upright holders here for the two kind of staff and pole weapons. You've got the different signs that I don't know what they say, but it's all good. These things are just big stickers to slap on there, and I got a little bit of stuff. And here, okay, here's the crazy part. I dusted this before starting this review. Look how dusty it got just sitting here. I really need to clean off this surface here. But as I've discussed before, these are glued in place, this is glued in place, and these circular bases are glued in place. So even when I go to store it for travel's sake, all I need to do is pull the backing off and pull these upright bits off, and it should fit in the box. But I didn't want things to just flop around. Like tomorrow I'm taking it to the Gunpla meet to show off, and I don't want things sliding and falling apart. But that's the mainstay of this thing, and like I said, it is incredibly dusty. It doesn't help that I was doing a lot of work around it. I tried dusting it off before this, but it's gorgeous. I love the just slightly shiny finish of the base. I like just everything. Even there's supposed to be a little bit of texture going on there. But this, other than being glued in place, this is essentially completely unchanged from its original design, unlike, well, virtually everything else we're going to look at. Look at this. It's getting dusty while I'm handling it. So, moving on to weapons. First up is the Nichiren Maru, his sword, his nice katana blade. And the red, whether I looked at it up close or not, this is, of course, a standard, like, Gundam sheath. It's two halves slapped together with a cap down here and the golden cap right there. Definitely recommend using a little bit of thin cement. You can see some of it there. Use some thin cement and then sand it. There's a lot of garbage on that end. Now, if you're wondering why I didn't weather this, to me, this was an actual painted finish, and it wouldn't be weathered as much. Maybe a little scrapes here and there. But I don't know if I actually showed off the sword blade or anything like that last time. So, beautiful chrome blade. I love that. Of course, you have the gold chrome. And before you guys ask, no. None of the gold, of course, is undergated because the original version of this is not chrome. It's all crappy gold plastic. It just sucks. So, none of the gold is undergated. You will see nubs. Not much I can do about that until they invent a really good gold chrome marker or something like that. But I like the sword. And you got the kind of wrap here on the hands. One thing I considered doing is weathering that just a little bit the same way I weathered the rest of the Gundam. But we shall see. And I'll show off where it goes and stuff like that when we get to looking at the Gundam itself. But for now, I'll put that back in. Now, one thing you might have to do, I would say scrape a little bit of the chrome off the inside of this. And glue it on, because otherwise the hibiki there will actually do that. So it doesn't stay on very well, and then you get a fingerprint on it. And I tried to handle this with gloves almost every time, so sadly throughout this review I'll probably get fingerprints on things. So let's move on to the next weapon. We looked at it before, but I figured I'd just go ahead and show it off for those who somehow missed the review before. But there's his gun. I gave it a wood grain finish, as you can see there. Got a few scrape marks here and there to make it look like it's just worn down wood. I did use the chrome stickers because I wasn't about to do anything else. I did paint the gray parts of the barrel and all the other bits with some matte black and rubbed on the gunmetal Tamiya weathering system on it to give it a gunmetal finish, or an old iron finish. And you can see there, I've actually added a green sticker. Once again, I always have to apologize for the fact that my camera never, this old camera can't focus up close. So you've got that green sticker there for the camera. That is not an additional, that is not a thing that it comes with. I added that. So, like I said, that's a real quick rundown. We've seen it before. I'll show the Gundam holding it and stuff like that whenever we get to that. Next up is the Denkumaru. It's kind of the big bladed staff there. And I've shown, I think I showed it off a little bit before, at least in an Instagram post, where I did the same finish on this. Actually, it was in a review before, but I updated it since then. So I did the same flat or matte black with gunmetal finish there. But one thing you guys are seeing now is an update, and I redid the handles in wood. So you can see I've got a wood grain carved in it, and a similar wood finish. It's going to be a pain in my butt. So a similar wood finish with some scrapage. That I was having problems with the dry brush, so I might have to go through and clean that up just a little bit. Same thing down here, although it does look just a little bit hammered. It's okay. That's just about as good as it gets. So nothing super special here. He does have grooves along here and here, I think, to help hold it, but you can also somehow remove, and I say somehow because I've never done it, this whole center, that whole center bit right there does remove, and I believe that's just for holding purposes. And last, the Senkumaru, so the big Trident Blade. Honestly, nothing has changed about it. The main problem being that all the other surfaces that I did a wood grain to are flat. This is round, so I kind of was left at an impasse trying to determine which way I was going to do it, because I could do really, really long wood grain on this, or I could do it on a weird bias, and I'm not sure how to do it on a rounded surface. I'll have to actually look at examples of that before I can finish it. But I might also, since I'm going to the Gunpla meet tomorrow, show people how I did the wood grain effect with this. But for the most part, I'm kind of happy with it. I don't care. Like, it stands out a little bit. So, I mean, if nothing else, if I don't carve a wood grain in it, I can still weather it the same way I've done everything else to make it look a little bit more like wood. But other than that, it's pretty cool. It is sectional, so you got the big long piece here, you've got the little piece here, and you've got all the chrome gold parts that hold it all together. There's no tab in it or anything like that, so it's a little bit harder for him to hold, but he can. But once again, like everything else. Well, I said last but not least, I meant last weapon. So this is the last thing, and it is the little seat I made. And once again, I'm having problems with framing because I'm an idiot. There we go. And you guys can see that it has definitely changed. So it went from the straight white styrene to looking like some incredibly aged wood. And I'm not gonna lie, I don't think I can correct or adequately describe how I did this, other than scribing or carving the wood grain pattern directly into it, using many layers of different grays and blacks and even some white, sanded down a little bit to make it scruffy, clear coat, different Tamiya weathering dust. That's how I got the white inside the grain. That's where the brown and the black coming across it have been done. Then I dry brushed, or mostly dry brushed, this part in here for the butt marks. And then just wiped over it with some more dust and really made it grind in. And in fact, it might not be visible, but the edges of where those are actually sanded down a little bit. You can feel it. I wanted it to be a bit thicker without really, or I'm sorry, thinner. Wanted it to be a little bit more worn down. Now you can see the wood grain applied here across the center bar and all down the legs. Now, I will show the reference photo so you can see where I took this from, right here. And I got pretty close, but one thing I definitely missed was the pins that actually hold the crossbar in place, but it's fine, in my opinion. Now, yes, I got lazy. I did not do the interior parts, but honestly, Can you tell? I mean, honestly, look, I did do underneath there and there, so at least when you're looking from the side, it definitely looks like old wood, even making the split run through like this. And honestly, this is probably one of the best things I have ever created. I've shown it off to people, at least in pictures, and they're like, wait a minute, that's not real, or that's not even wood. And I'm like, no. It's like I made that out of plastic. I did apply some of the same dry brushing with the same tannish color to some of the edges to make them look a little bit more worn. Come on, figure out where... Stop focusing on my finger. Makes no sense. There we go. So you can see there, just more streaks. And considering a big machine is sitting on it, I guess it sort of makes sense that it'll almost be like stained with some oil near the butt. And this came out a little bit rounder than this one, but who cares? Honestly, it's just one of the better things. So if I could, and I guess in theory I could do it, but I did this last. I could have done all of the other wooden weapons like this, and it would have been even more epic. But I love this thing. I love the way it works, and just to show that it does really work. And I lined up the butt marks really well because I actually set him on the seat and then figured out where the butt marks were. I did measure out the height to roughly be the length of the shin to the knee when it was bent with the hips tilted forward. Now if you just kind of set him in position, there you go. Because in my mind, with this display, standing wasn't right. Because if you see armor, samurai armor usually on display, it looks like it's sitting. I mean, it's on a stand of sorts. It's not on a seat. But to me, this is how it should be. And yes, I did look up a ancient Japanese style chair to get the design. So to me, it works. So that's it for accessories. We'll take a quick break and we'll come back and look at the rest of this guy, because you can see he is not normal. Alright guys, I fully admit this is not going to be the easiest thing to film. Shiny black, shiny chrome. It will not focus properly. I can almost guarantee it. But as you guys can see, I've done some considerable work adding different textures and tones to this guy's armor to make it look like leather. And, well, frankly, I don't know that this is going to film properly. I really don't. It's like all the other stuff, maybe. This, not so much. I'm going to go freehand for a minute. There we go. So now you guys can see up close the way the armor looks. Added a lot of shading, different color reds, some looking through a zoomed in camera, can't see any depth. Some scratches and beat up edges of armor, and you can see that it is a matte finish with a little bit of other thing going on there and kind of crinkly. Now, it's not every finish, as you'll notice, because right here, it's still perfectly red. But to me, this is not necessarily an old Gundam, it's old armor applied to said Gundam. Now, that's why the white and the chrome and stuff like that are still okay. Now, I did have an idea to take a matte finish to parts of the chrome to make the pipes look a little bit older, but to me, like I said, maybe it's just the armor that's old on the outside, like it's hand-me-down, 1,000-year-old armor. And you can see there some more of that finish. You can come down here. It doesn't know where to focus. A little bit more damage there. Fingerprints from maneuvering the hands. But you can see underneath all that. And then we've seen what the inner frame looks like. If you need to go see that, by all means, go back and watch that review. And you can see in here some more scratches and dings. Like he's nearly been stabbed through there. The hip skirts. You can actually still catch some of the kind of metallic red coming through, which I think is cool. So all of the red got hit with Italian red. Then once that was dry, it got hit with maroon, and then I added the texture layer, and then did some dry brushing with some oil. Well, not really dry brushing. I did some oil wash. It didn't really. I got the wrong kind of oil paints, honestly, and it didn't work. But then, after I flat coated, and you can see there's still quite a bit of shine, even though it's been matte coated, and I like that. And then added some more black in there with the Real Touch markers to really add a little bit more layer of texture and finish. I don't know if I can get light in there with the arm in the way. There we go, you can see. And it adds almost an oxidized look when the light hits it. So even though it's black, it reflects almost white, like it's oxidized armor, or oxidized oils and paints. And then the back skirt, to me, I did a much better job. Let me turn it out of the light so you can see there. And the way these skirts go together, like these are very simple back skirts. The front skirts are actually layered and all individually hinged. Now while I'm back here, I'll talk about the backpack. So the gloss black is just standard. Everything else was done with the same matte black gunmetal finish to get all those bits. But this was actually done with German gray and then washed over with silver. So it gave the bells a little bit more of a different look there. Some of them came out better than others, if I'm honest. Silver wasn't quite working with me. And then there's the spot for holding the sword. Right in there. Same finish. And then if we come down to the legs, which took me a while to build. You can see some more thumbprints. And you can see some more of that weathering. I guess if I move my hand out of the way, you can see it better. I just realized my hand was what was blocking it. That's funny. And you can see some dings all along there. Now, this gray, I didn't mess with, honestly, because I didn't know it was going to be a part of it until I was putting it together. I didn't mess with the feet, because once again, part of it is brand new Gundam. The rest of it is old. So I even like the gloss black is there, and the red ribbons here are just slightly weathered. But like these bits, I love this with the big scar going across it. Like it's been hit before. Same thing down here. And you see it's a little crusty. And that wasn't on purpose. That was actually just how the oil paints came along. Because like I said, I did not get the right kind of oil paint. And also nothing was symmetrical. It's not, no one panel looks like exactly like another. And these leg thrusters here were some of my more favorite works. Because otherwise, it would look bright red like this. Which is not bad if that's what you're going for, but it's not what I was going for. And you can see all the stuff back here. And like I said, that's why the inner stuff, like the leg armor, stuff like that, the basic parts of the Gundam are all clear and clean finish, whereas anything that can be construed as old is not. Now, the only thing I couldn't really weather because I didn't get there were these little parts of the helmet. But that's just a thing. And I really wish the neighbor's AC unit wasn't on right now. So, just pointing out things. So, we've got a goldish, coppery chrome sticker there and on the back. Green sticker for the eyes. Red and gold sticker right there around the Vulcans. That took me way too long to remember, if I'm honest. I cut that for time, but it took me way too long to remember. I did leave the vents red, once again, for the same reason. I don't really want to show off the main articulation, but I really do dig what it can do. I will show off what the armors can do, though. So, it does have kind of a complex hinge, so you can move the armor out a little bit, like so. You can also tilt them up, and you see it up underneath everything. Yeah, it's kind of a cool hinge. Also kind of annoying hinge, if I'm honest, but you can move it around. I, of course, just like the chill look, or if he's going to have it down a little bit, but tilted forward just a degree. I do dig that. The armors, I couldn't show those off in the same way here. Let me try. Those came out pretty good, also considering. what I had to do. And yes, I did miss a couple of these smaller parts. That's why they don't have paint. I'm just being honest. But considering I was working on the different armor things for quite some time, it took me more than a week to do those because of just letting paint dry, especially the oil paints. They would not dry. And it was humid or cold for the longest time around here, and so that was a thing. Now he does have an ab rocker. I should have showed off articulation while I had the main body out. He can rock side to side, though that joint is potentially a little bit loose. I like the crotch V-fin set in its own red piece. I like that. The head itself is on a nice double hinge, so you can actually get him to look down. I didn't show off the back of the head. I should have showed off the back of the head. Hold on. So, there's your back of the head. All the nice armor and weathering along that. Just wanted to show that off while I could. And there's your backpack up close. Yay. Okay, so the focus got stuck. Alright, so he does have the flip forward crotch, which is how I get him to sit. Probably an actual unintended consequence, but he has that. I dig it. And the hips do work, although I'm being very careful due to paintage. So he can kick forward about that far. Goes back down. Can kick out. Probably decent once you get it. Oh, nope, it stops right there. Oh, that's right. These are old school ball joint mounts. My bad. Okay, and it does rotate there on the ball socket instead of having a rotation joint there at the thigh. The big old double jointed knees can get you about that. Oh, no, they went further. Okay, so it can go that far, and you can see the pistons working inside there. I dig that, and you can see the little dings and damage and stuff I did just on the inside. It is a little chunky there, but it works. Also, he has... where are the flip out parts? This whole part can flip out, this black back piece, but I don't know exactly how. There's like a little hingy thingy that's on that. I'm not going to mess with it too much. And the same thing for this. It also can sort of move, I think. Maybe that's just how it applies. I could be wrong. Even these side thrusters you would think would be like on a hinge or something. They're not. So sad face on that one. But once again, I like the way they look. Nice complex ankles and feet. Oh, I totally forgot I painted the thrusters on the bottom of the foot. You never look at the bottom of the feet once you get to a certain point. Oh, and here's what I want to talk about. These front skirt armors that move. Now, I did pay very, very close attention when you're putting these together to make sure you have the right part and the right hinge part. Because a lot of it looks exactly the same, and it will not function the same if you screw it up. And I did break off one of the little tabs that holds the black part on, and I had to glue it back in place. So one of them will be forever slightly different. And I'm going to let you guys in on a secret. I have incredible heartburn right now due to trying a really ridiculously bad hot sauce at lunch. And I mean, I just tried it, and I'm still being punished for it. Now, because this video isn't quite long enough, let's take a look at how he manages the weapons. So let's talk about the sword, which just slides right through there. Looks very nice. Should only go about that far. Go ahead and pull it out. And I'll give it to him. This is actually a first. I have not done this yet. So, you know me, I like to sometimes do stuff for the first time with you guys watching, which sounds really strange. I like being watched. Anyways, there's no tab for holding the sword, so it's slightly awkward. Especially with the thumb that's not wanting to cooperate. There we go. So one problem is the thumb wants to come down below the index finger, or pointer finger. So that's pretty cool. I'm not gonna lie. He does hold it very loosely, so it's kind of gravity, more or less, keeping it in his hand. He doesn't hold anything straight for the most part. So he's just gonna have to do the thing. Magnets would be great about now. So looks pretty. Not gonna lie. You can take the gun and I believe I showed this off, that you can tab it into his hand. I'm considering further weathering the handle around the gun edge there. I think that's around about the right spot. Feels like it. And the thumb doesn't really do anything to help me here. Appreciate you. I appreciate you, Mr. Gun. Or thumb not cooperating at all. Yeah, that thumb's not going to wrap around that. What am I thinking? So he can hold the little bitty gun. It's actually a pretty big gun, if I'm honest. So that's pretty cool. And if he's not holding the gun, which odds are he never will be. Actually, I like to have him sitting there with his Get Off My Lawn Gundam. That was pretty cool. So you have a tiny, tiny little tab hanging out right there. That's just kind of to help it stop, but you can just clunk, like so. And it's on his backpack. So basically we're showing off how the weapon storage works if you buy the regular Musha, not this version. So we'll take the power pole, just what I'm calling it. I know it's not what it's called. And once again, I said before, you can very much loosely hold it. You can't necessarily grip it in any way. There's no way to really do anything, but there we go. You can just sort of be there. Now if you want to double hand it and like have it up here to where that little guard is sort of stopping it, then that will probably work. I had him sitting, holding it in one hand in position, so that worked out really well. Oh, sorry. I was still showing weapon storage. Come on. So you've got this one right here that oddly enough looks like it would have a clamp that would open and close. It doesn't. It's a solid piece. But you pull off the bottom bit, kind of push it through, slightly stiff if I'm honest. You plug that right back on, you pull it pretty much to the ground, and there you go. Got more weapon storage. And last weapon, so this lovely guy here. Now I believe it's meant to be held in the right hand due to the slot that you've got going on here, but I'm still holding the sword. Come here. You put your sword away, sir. You put that sword away. There we go. And we can, once again, make an assumption, because I don't know for a fact. Oh, that moves. I forgot. The armor moves. Okay, he might. Yeah, okay, so that is exactly what that does. Good for me for figuring that out. So he can do this number, but if the sword is sticking out too far, which it probably was, if we're honest with ourselves. Okay, so this can probably be rotated to face the opposite direction. And once again, I like doing these things for the first time with you guys, witnessing me fumbling, because it's kind of fun. Okay, so here we go. That's the first time he's ever held that effectively. Nice. And I will say, be very careful with this weapon because of the way it pegs together. So it is very simple and small, like not even 2mm peg holding the different segments together, and they're pretty fragile. So, yeah, I might actually have to flip that around. But this center section here, is, of course, the main channel for that. Now, if you want to use weapon storage, he has it on the back as well. And I believe you do it this way. I forget. Hold on. Sword is sort of in the way. I said sort of. And I think it just, like so. Yeah. Pretty simple. You can tuck it down a little bit more, I think. I don't think it has to be all the way the heck up there. And then that's the Senkumaro or Denkumaro. Either way, they're both interfering with each other, along with the shoulder armor also deciding to play along and make a mess of things. And there you have your full armor samurai Musha person all ready to go. And then the most awesome thing I've ever made to go with it. See, look at this. It can't focus on him directly. I can see it on the camera. It doesn't look as pretty. And just to kind of show it off here at the end before final thoughts, you can sort of do the drawing the sword pose. I honestly didn't think you could. That's kind of cool. It's despite the bulky armor, he's pretty mobile, and I dig it. He's gonna take a lot of polishing now that I've been handling it, but I'm okay with it. It sucks that this camera can't really bring out all the details. I'll take a lot of close-up pictures and stuff like that with my good camera. Make sure you follow all the posts for that. This was a long process, guys. I learned a lot of new techniques, the kind of leathering technique, so to speak. The wood grain technique I sort of just came up with. I didn't really have a guide for that. I'm a woodworker by by circumstance. So oddly enough, making something look like wood was pretty easy. And I'm not gonna lie, kind of feels like wood. It's a little strange if I'm honest, but it definitely feels like wood. Definitely one of the best scratch build things I've ever done. Scratch paint, all that. This whole set is definitely really, really cool. The Gundam by itself, a nice build. If you're gonna straight build it, by all means, go right ahead. If you're gonna go to the nines like this, take your time, make sure you know what you're doing, or have fun figuring it out, much like I did. He's very articulate for what he is, or articulated, I should say. A lot of detail. The negatives for this thing are basically weapon holding / storage is a little wonky due to the just old nature of the design. The non-undergated bits for the gold kind of suck. So that's probably where the original one that's not chrome... Oops, I just totally kicked my camera. The old non-chrome version is probably superior in that way because you could paint it, you know, and cover up your nubs. I did consider weathering over the nubs, but I really didn't want to damage the chrome that good. It does look very pretty to me. Now, I'm going to display him, not standing or anything like that, but of course you can, by all means, especially if you don't feel like taking the weapons off of him. Oh yeah, that sword is sort of really sticking out the back. I said sort of. That's funny. But, guys, let me know what you think about what I did here, whether it's my scratch building or my leather working, so to speak. Let me know in the comments down below what you think. I know this was a long process, and I'm glad you guys stuck it out with me. And this is more what I want to do. I'm not going to go to the nines with every single build, especially master grades, stuff like that. But customizing, doing things like that, learning new techniques is stuff I'm going to be doing throughout the year. Whether it's this, whether it's the custom local type, which is basically what I'm finishing up next. Then after that, other customs that I've been working on along with regular builds. I do have more builds, more stuff in the backlog to get. I ordered something the other day that I'm really, really looking forward to. But guys, if you like this video, give me a big old double thumbs up. If you are new here, make sure you hit that subscribe-ish button down there to check out all my builds and reviews and everything of the sort. And of course, if you want to help support the channel other way, check out the Patreon, check out the Shoky shirts. Actually, the patrons have seen more updates to these things as I was going versus, you know, you guys here. So, you know, if you want to see stuff early, there's even going to be videos that are specifically for them. There's, in fact, unboxings that are specifically going over there. In fact, almost all unboxings might go over there on the Patreon. Because, honestly, if they're helping support the channel, they deserve to get some stuff that's just for them. But that's it for this Master Grade Shin Musha Gundam set on this Master Grade Monday. I'll see you guys on the next review. Remember, as always, to keep on building.